Hey everyone, I want to thank you all for joining me today here on my channel, Entertainment TV. Today is another episode for my MacGyver series, Do It Yourself in a Pinch. Right here we have a faulty battery cable that has been corroded and it's not allowing a charge to reach my battery from my alternator. So now what I'm going to have to do is get this thing cleaned off. And I noticed likely the cause from the corrosion to occur is the hole that's on the wheel well below it is starting to erode away through the metal, through the bottom side, through the top side. And coincidentally, it's right by my battery connector, positive battery connector. And along with that, an extra moisture onto my battery, likely from my tire throwing it up during or after rainy days. It's causing that water to get in on that battery connector. And as you can see here, it rusted out almost the entire underside of this wheel well. There's supposed to be a cover here, and for whatever apparent reason, there's not. Either fell off, blew off, whatever the situation, I'm going to have to fix it. And I got this flashing here I found laying around the house I use for painting. Seems like it's almost the perfect size for this wheel well. I'm going to tap screw that to the underside of this, like so. But before I did that, I'm going to put rust converter on this, allow it to dry, harden. This will recondition the metal so that way it doesn't rust anymore through my metal fender wheel well. Here I had the Rust-Oleum. I'm going to spray that once everything is done over the rust converter. This will give the repair job longevity. I plan on to run my truck for another 100,000 miles, so I don't want to have to do this again if I can help it. As you can see, it's not in really good shape, but let's get to it. And here you go. We are back. So, to playing around with this a little bit, so I found something here that would likely work. So we're going to go ahead and try this here. Here is a flathead bit. I think will be good for removing some of this corrosion. I don't want to be too rough with it and scar it up, but I definitely want to try to get this stuff off if I can without damaging it. So just, just keep going over the same spot without pressing too hard on the surface, and so that way it just works on the areas that you're trying to clean up. And we got some sandpaper here I could try to use with it along with this. This might help out a little better too. A little MacGyver style here. Sometimes you gotta use a couple of things to get the job done. Seems like it's doing the job so far, so good. Might have to get another piece. Oh. We'll start around on another side here. Actually, we'll see if we can build this up so that way we can hold on to it while we're trying to remove this corrosion. And when I mean hold on to it, I mean the sandpaper itself along with the bit. Kind of fold it over, make it more durable, right? And also long enough so I can pinch it. That might be a little too wide. And I got me another piece there just in case I need it. It might be thick enough to keep it from tearing. Well, cleaning out with some effort, but it is cleaning. Now I just cut these down to just tear these into a strip here. This is 120 grit sandpaper. Wouldn't go much higher than that, just because you don't really want to gouge out the surface of this metal that we're trying to remove the corrosion from. See these little bar here, I'm not sure what those are for, but they are in the way of me cleaning, so I'm just going in between them. Not much farther than that, because it'll just tear the sandpaper apart, catching it. If you can help it. Once you get the feel for it, it's pretty easy. Feel. And I just keep working around until I get this whole thing clean best I can. I got some WD-40 I will put on it. Try to clean it up better. Do not use water. For those who do not know, water will corrode it. And just get back out here doing it again. Shoot it in later. And I'm just kind of using that tip there and just sliding it around right between those grooves, not catching that on there. Just keep working your way around, I guess. As soon as you get a place cleaned up well enough. And that's about the result there. I don't know if you guys can see it well enough, but it's about fully clean. I'm not sure if I'll go much farther than that. Touch it up with a little bit of WD-40 here. Now you could probably get a piece of t-shirt or something, fabric. We'll be able to get in there a little better. Finish cleaning it out. You can get something a little pointier, like a tip of a coat hanger, maybe like a sewing thread needle, and use that to work your way around the edges. Removing all the corrosion would be ideal. This way, the corrosion won't grow back as rapidly if it's completely removed. But I will be using a rag to clean this up a little further. So here's an old shirt I just had laying around that I'll use to finish cleaning up the rest of this. Now you don't want anything with too much lint or fabric, like a towel or paper towel or anything like that, because that's just going to tear and get caught and stick to what you have going on here. Could cause a fire. From that burning within there. Not sure if it would cause a full-fledged fire, but I just know that using this material here will not leave as much lint behind. Like catching on some of these tips and whatnot. Finishing up cleaning this. And like again, you could just use like a pointy needle would probably be better. Sorry about that. As you use that needle, you get a more, I guess, used to using it, get the feel for it, and then it should help your job go a little quicker. But if you feel like you're cutting through the material of the shirt when you're scraping, that's because you likely are. Just double up. Just take the shirt if you need to, fold it over a couple of times, just so that way you're thick enough to get in there and not scratch the metal itself. And just keep working that around. But if you are using needle thread, I wouldn't use it for the whole thing. I would just use it around these inner parts that I'm having difficulties getting to. You likely probably could get by without doing it, and it would last a good long while because I have not done this since I've owned a truck. That's been for a few years. That's good enough for me. It's not too much of a pain to come out and do this. It's only took me a few minutes, I suspect. Well, that right there should be good enough for those who want to go farther. I would suggest getting a new tool and trying that, because this is not going to work out so well unless I can get in there with these corners. I don't want to pry on them too much because I don't want to wreck it and ruin its structure. May have a purpose. I don't understand what that purpose is, but I do understand what's going on here with this corrosion. So, and that's about acceptable. I think I could live with that. See if I can use this. Oh yeah, that's coming out now. Just using it on those corners there wouldn't be so bad. If I'm not scratching up the majority of this. See if it does an effective job. Seems like it's okay. So, I think I'll be okay with that, guys. So, all I used for this was some WD-40, flathead bit. If you can get a narrower one than I had, that'd probably be, or would be more effective. Used 100 grit sandpaper, about a 1/2 inch wide. And kind of a sponge in case I need it to do a little further cleaning. Sponge probably would work a lot better if someone was to saturate it with the WD-40.